Early morning calm shattered when a sudden explosion rocked the village, sending shockwaves through narrow streets and startling families from their sleep. Residents rushed outside in confusion, witnessing thick smoke rising from the hillside where a controlled detonation had gone tragically wrong. Emergency sirens echoed moments later, their sharp wails cutting through panic as responders raced toward the source of the blast. People described the ground trembling like a sudden quake, leaving them unsure whether it was an accident or something far more serious. Officials confirmed the explosion originated from ammunition disposal operations, but the detonation force was far stronger than anticipated. As the smoke thickened, families gathered in open fields, unsure if it was safe to return home or remain outdoors. Within an hour, rescue teams began assessing injuries, carrying supplies through narrow pathways still covered in dust. The blast damaged windows across several blocks, leaving glass fragments glittering across the roads like scattered ice. Local hospitals activated emergency protocols, preparing extra beds and mobilizing volunteers to help treat the wounded. Eyewitnesses recalled seeing a bright flash before the explosion, followed by a deafening roar that shook their chests. Children cried as parents tried to reassure them, shielding their faces from drifting ash and falling debris. Firefighters pushed through thick plumes to prevent secondary fires from igniting, battling low visibility and unstable rubble. Authorities began cordoning off hazardous areas, setting up right warning lines to guide residents away from unstable structures. The explosion's shockwave shattered rooftop tiles, leaving homes partially exposed to the elements. Volunteers handed out masks and water bottles, helping elderly residents walk safely through debris-filled lanes. Engineers began inspecting power lines and pipelines, concerned that hidden damage could trigger additional emergencies. As confusion settled, residents began phoning relatives to confirm safety, their voices shaking with emotion. Social media filled instantly with photos of the smoke cloud, prompting nationwide concern and rapid spread of information. Ambulances transported the injured through congested roads as citizens moved aside to clear paths. Temporary shelters opened in nearby schools, offering water, blankets, and a sense of stability amid the chaos. Meanwhile, in the city, fans were shocked when news broke that a major artist had suddenly cancelled her performance for health reasons. Many had traveled long distances, expecting a powerful show, only to learn the singer was hospitalized for emergency care. Her studio announced she had experienced severe physical distress, requiring immediate medical intervention and full rest. Supporters flooded comment sections with wishes for her recovery, emphasizing concern over disappointment. Despite this, debates erupted about performer workloads and whether entertainment industries prioritize health appropriately. Long-time observers noted the demanding schedules artists endure, warning that ignoring early symptoms can lead to crises. Her close associates revealed she had been feeling unwell for days, but insisted on rehearsing until she collapsed. Fans expressed guilt for not noticing signs earlier, realizing how much pressure she faced behind the scenes. The cancellation triggered a broader discussion about burnout and the cultural expectation of constant productivity. As the singer rested in the hospital, doctors emphasized she needed both physical and emotional stabilization. In the village, the explosion investigation intensified as experts analyzed fragments scattered across the hillside. Early findings suggested that outdated disposal procedures may have contributed to the excessive blast radius. Residents demanded clearer explanations, gathering around officials in tense discussions. Authorities promised transparent results and accountability, hoping to rebuild trust shaken by the incident. Families reported unsettling aftershocks, minor vibrations, likely caused by shifting rubble, not additional explosions. As cleanup continued, villagers found hope in small victories, repaired pipes, cleared roads, and reopened shops. Power crews restored electricity to several blocks, earning cheers from exhausted residents. Children were relocated to temporary classrooms to ensure learning continued without interruption. Teachers adapted quickly, offering comfort while maintaining routine to stabilize young minds. Local leaders organized volunteer teams to accelerate rebuilding and distribute essential supplies. Despite progress, many struggled to sleep, haunted by the deafening blast that had shattered their sense of security. Psychologists warned that emotional aftershocks could last months if not properly addressed. Specialists arrived to assess structural safety, marking buildings that needed demolition or reinforcement. Villagers lit candles in a small vigil, offering gratitude that casualties were limited and praying for faster recovery. Emergency teams worked tirelessly, rotating shifts to prevent exhaustion and maintain precision during nighttime operations. Drone footage revealed the full scale of damage, collapsed walls, scattered debris, and fractured soil across the hillside. Environmental experts evaluated whether the explosion had contaminated soil or water sources. Many families faced the difficult decision of temporary relocation while repairs continued. Local businesses rallied support, offering free meals and supplies to affected households. Gradually, life began regaining rhythm, though uncertainty still hovered like a thin layer of dust over the community. As repair crews began stabilizing damaged structures, the rhythmic clatter of tools echoes across the village, blending with faint conversations about rebuilding and fear of future accidents. Parents gather near temporary classrooms, watching teachers distribute worksheets, reminding children that learning must continue even when walls crumble. Though officials stress the explosive material was intended for safe disposal, villagers struggle to accept reassurance after witnessing destruction firsthand. Reporters capture emotional testimonies, shaky voices, recounting fear, shock, and instinctive protectiveness. Some residents quietly pack belongings, unsure whether to stay or relocate, torn between memories and safety. Engineers reviewed damaged retaining walls, debating whether immediate reinforcement or full demolition would provide safer long-term protection for families returning to the hillside homes. At the temporary shelter, volunteers organized neatly stacked supplies as residents lined up calmly, grateful for stable routines that brought a sense of order after days of fear. Local officials gathered for an emergency town hall, answering pressing questions while facing the community's rising anger mixed with exhaustion and lingering uncertainty. The investigation team expanded, bringing in national experts known for analyzing explosive incidents and evaluating safety protocols ignored for far too long. Villagers expressed frustration that outdated procedures were still used, insisting modern standards should prevent such disasters from ever threatening homes again. Meanwhile, reconstruction crews mapped safe routes for transporting debris, ensuring heavy machinery avoided fragile terrain weakened by the blast impact. Medical staff continued treating minor injuries, emphasizing the psychological impact would require long-term monitoring and accessible mental health support. Some residents blamed insufficient communication, claiming they never received proper warnings about disposal operations happening so close to their homes. Environmental teams expanded their sampling radius, identifying subtle shifts in soil stability that could influence ongoing rebuilding decisions. Rebuilding materials arrived at the village entrance, and volunteers quickly formed chains to distribute them, restoring unity among shaken neighbors. As temporary classrooms stabilized, children began smiling again, comforted by familiar lessons and the reassuring presence of dedicated teachers. Our technicians inspected underground cables and junction boxes, ensuring hidden faults would not cause future outages during the reconstruction phase. Rumors about a second explosion spread briefly online, creating unnecessary panic until authorities firmly clarified the misinformation. Local elders encouraged unity, reminding everyone that recovery depended on cooperation rather than blame, especially during uncertain early stages. Emergency planners designed new evacuation maps to prepare residents better should similar incidents occur in the future. Conversations shifted as villagers shared personal survival stories, each recalling distinct moments of fear, instinct, and relief. Drone scans identified secondary cracks hidden beneath vegetation, prompting engineers to mark new danger zones, requiring immediate attention. Bakers, shop owners, and farmers reopened small businesses, offering familiar scents and routines that helped dissolve lingering anxiety. Health officials urged residents to minimize exposure to dust, distributing additional masks and advising temporary relocation for vulnerable individuals. Late at night, the hum of generators blended with distant chatter as families tried creating warm temporary spaces inside makeshift shelters. The investigation uncovered signs of corroded containers that may have contributed to unpredictable blast behavior during disposal. While experts cautioned against premature conclusions, villagers demanded faster answers to ease their rising frustration and fear. Engineers proposed relocating future disposal sites farther from residential zones to minimize risks and rebuild public trust. Humanitarian groups arrived with psychological counselors, focusing on children still startled by loud noises and abrupt movements. Local radio stations broadcast calm updates, countering misinformation and offering daily reassurance to anxious residents. Farmers assessed crop fields affected by airborne dust, worried contamination might hinder this season's harvest. The hillside investigation revealed debris lodged deep into fractured soil, requiring delicate extraction to avoid further collapse. At night, children clung to their parents as distant construction noises echoed faintly, triggering memories of the explosion. Rescue leaders emphasized teamwork noting every hour of coordinated effort brought the community closer to stability. Gradually, the main road reopened, allowing supply trucks to access previously isolated neighborhoods. Some homes were deemed too unstable for repair, forcing families to accept relocation despite emotional attachment to their land. Structural engineers introduced new reinforcement methods designed to withstand shockwaves from potential future incidents. As cleanup teams cleared deeper layers of rubble, long-buried personal items surfaced, stirring quiet emotions among families. The village council announced financial assistance programs to support reconstruction, easing pressure on low-income households. Journalists from major networks arrived, broadcasting the event nationwide and drawing attention to long-neglected safety issues. Public discussions expanded into debates about outdated infrastructure and the need for modernized emergency protocols across rural regions. Construction teams began laying new foundation frameworks, symbolizing the village's steady return to normalcy. Families visited repair sites daily, watching progress with cautious hope as workers stabilized weakened structures. Scientists analyzed air samples, ensuring long-term exposure would not pose additional health risks to remaining residents. With roads gradually cleared, small markets reopened, filling the air with familiar sounds and scents that softened lingering fear. Documentarians began capturing the recovery journey, preserving stories of resilience for future reflection. Local musicians organized a small outdoor performance, offering emotional relief and reminding villagers of shared cultural strength. Emergency teams completed final assessments, confirming most areas were safe for gradual return to normal routines. Despite progress, many acknowledged healing would continue long after buildings were repaired and debris removed. As dawn broke over the recovering village, sunlight illuminated renewed determination, proof that even shaken communities can rebuild with unity and resilience.